and welcome to a very special edition of Wareham Whiparound, live from Cape Cod Coffee at Wareham Crossing. Pleasure to have you with us. Ethan and I with you, alongside Kyle Marshak as always, and we have a slew of special guests today on the program. We're going to start with starting pitchers Tate McGuire and Cole Leaman. Tate McGuire of Arkansas and Cole Leaman of Lehigh. Guys, it's great to be with you.
Thanks for having us out here.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, guys. It's been a wild season. We have a lot to talk about. We want to learn more about you guys as well. So
let's do it.
Let's start things off with a question that I love to ask every interview that I get. What's something outside of baseball that's brought each of you joy this week?
Ooh.
We'll start with you, Tate.
We've been playing a lot of golf together. We'll go out there, golf, have some fun, just take our mind off baseball, just mess around with the course,
and then
shoot some shots.
We've been watching Game of Thrones together too at night. So we'll go golfing in the day, come back, watch some Game of Thrones. So it's brought us joy.
So you guys got like a bromance going, golf during the day, and then Game of Thrones at night.
I've seen Game of Thrones, but I'm trying to make him watch it.
Yeah, something like that.
How you liking it so far?
It's good so far.
Okay.
It's a little gory, but it's good.
And who's the better golfer?
Probably this guy.
Okay.
Not gonna lie.
What about Mike Mobbs?
Right.
Mike Mobbs
he swings
gives a good grunt on every swing, but
so
he hits
hard.
it. He hits it far. Yeah.
Just hit it far.
Is it accurate?
It's getting there. Yeah.
Okay.
His second round with us was better than his first. He really turned up this last time. Yeah.
Nice.
I've seen the videos. Looks like a pretty good swing. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tate, you've been one of the biggest surprises this season. A freshman out of Arkansas, only tossed a couple of innings your first year, but you've been pretty dominant all season long. What's been the key to your success here on the Cape?
Just throwing strikes. I mean, yesterday I didn't throw very many strikes, but that's all right. Yeah, just throwing strikes, letting the defense work. There's 8 guys behind you trying to field the ball. It's pretty hard to get a hit, so just let them work and throw strikes. That's about it.
What about you, Cole? There have been some ups and downs this season. You've had some really good starts, and how's that kind of shaped your summer so far?
Well, I definitely like the good ones more than the bad ones. So I try to work towards the good ones more than the bad ones. But just throwing strikes, that's kind of the key in the good ones, and then the bad ones are, you don't throw strikes and you kind of beat yourself rather than let the other team beat you. That's their whole goal. So just pitching with the mindset of like try to make them beat you. I think that leads to more success than trying to be too perfect.
Yeah.
What's something that you both have learned from this summer that you'll take away once it's all said and done?
Man, it's early for the philosophical
Don't be too quick now.
Just woke up.
It's hitting's really hard, and all these hitters up here are really good. So I think the value of kind of like getting ahead on the first pitch, and then if you don't get ahead on the first pitch, working back to getting ahead in 3 pitches leads to just like crazy difference in numbers output and like what hitters do and the success that they have. So just working ahead by 3 pitches is something that I've never really thought about, but something that definitely pays dividends. So yeah.
Definitely get in ahead in the count, because as soon as you fall behind, you get pretty predictable, and that's when bad things happen. So just like he said, getting ahead and getting them out.
Yeah. Well, you guys are roommates, both centerpieces of the rotation. So have you guys leaned on one another in terms of your philosophy as pitchers? You guys really talk about baseball when you go home?
A little bit. I mean, we play so many games out here, you're at the field for so long.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice when you go home just to kind of forget about baseball for a little bit and kind of get a little mental reset. But I say at the field and kind of when we throw bullpens, we'll talk about it a little bit, just kind of reflect on each other.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just kind of when we get home, it's just like have fun, death scroll on your phone.
Yep.
But we like doing that. But yeah, at the field, it's pretty much all baseball and stuff. So yeah.
Sweet.
What's been the overall host family experience for you guys? Kyle and I have a great experience with Mike and Mary Chaplin, who was your host family. What's that been like?
Oh, they've been awesome. I mean, they've
Kim and Matt. Shout out Kim and Matt. Donnie.
Yeah, Donnie. They've been awesome. It feels like home. I mean, they've welcomed us in. They've been awesome, cooking dinner for us. Sometimes doing our laundry. It's all right.
Nice.
And it's been awesome. They're really good people.
They come to watch us pitch all the time.
Yeah.
So that's
Nice.
anytime we're on the bump, they'll travel to Orleans or wherever.
Yeah.
So
our host dad is the superintendent of a golf course kind of nearby, so he's gotten some free rounds of golf, so it's even better.
Wow, what a setup! Oh my goodness, you guys hit the jackpot.
Fantastic.
So do you guys share a room, or you guys have separate rooms?
Yeah,
we do share a room.
We got 2 twin beds.
Nice.
Hey, that's the same setup we've got.
Same setup as Ethan
Yeah,
and I.
that's good. It's really good.
So you guys are closer than you would like to admit.
It's all right.
We'll admit it.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
heading off the field a little bit more, I'd like to know about maybe a challenge or a period of adversity that you guys have gone through that have helped shape you, not just as the players that you are, but the people that you are, if you're willing to share.
Yeah, so I guess I can talk about my freshman year of Arkansas. I threw an inning and 2/3, which is a lot less than I hoped to my freshman year. But just going through there, knowing that I'll get my shot eventually, and I got to keep working to get better and better, and just kind of wait my turn, show them that I can do it, and just kind of not getting down on myself too much throughout the year, and just kind of keeping my head even, just keep working to get out there.
Yeah, for me, I'd say it was definitely more of like an off-field thing, and I remember I stepped foot on college my first day of freshman year orientation, and my coach told me that if I stood sideways, the wind would blow me over because I was so small. So I really tried hard to eat a lot to gain weight, and it just wasn't working. I tried 3 times, and I was like, I'm doing everything I can to gain weight, and I just can't. I must be my body must be different or something. But then I realized that's just that's not true, and it just takes more than you expect. So I really spent last summer just eating. That was definitely, honestly, the biggest challenge so far in my career, is just having to genuinely eat more than I can even picture, and it's painful looking back on because I'm happy I don't have to do it this summer. But definitely eating to try to gain weight was something that I kind of put off for 2 years that I knew I needed to do, and tried to do it, but never actually did. So definitely doing that was really hard, but
so what's the weight gain looked like, and how about maybe the numbers that have gone with it?
Yeah, I stepped on. I think I was 151 pounds coming into freshman year of Lehigh, and I'm at the gym the other day I was 197 or something like that. So I gained a lot of weight, and it's came with some velocity increases too that I'm proud of. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you got to be around Hagen Smith, top 5 pick this year over at Arkansas, and a slew of other Razorbacks that are pretty good as well. So what did you learn from Hagen Smith, just being under him as a freshman?
I mean, watching him pitch this year was pretty unreal. I mean, my, what was it, 4th or 5th college baseball game was at Globe Life in Arlington, and we were playing Oregon State, and he had, what was it, 7 shutout innings, 1 hit, 17 strikeouts. Just watching that was pretty insane. It was unreal. But the best part about him is that he was such a good guy off the field. He was one of the nicest guys I ever got to know in my life. Just kind of talking with him about what goes through his head when he's on the mound, and kind of what he sees in hitters was super helpful. I mean, he's got all the information in the world to make anyone better. So having him as a resource is pretty awesome.
Has he been keeping in touch with you this summer as you've gone on the Cape?
Yeah, we've talked every once in a while now. He's busy doing White Sox stuff, but yeah, we'll keep in touch every once in a while and just kind of talk about it.
We never really got to form the best connection, at least in my opinion, with Jake Faraday while he was here. Because, not a very big conversationalist, but what are some of your favorite memories with Faraday and your time with him?
He's a man of few words, doesn't like the cameras very much, but no, he's awesome. Just his mentality on the mound's like a bulldog. He just doesn't care who steps in the box. And as soon as you step in there, you're his enemy, and you're just a mean guy on the mound. He just throws it really hard.
Is that something that you see yourself kind of becoming as well? You've showed up here on the Cape. You mentioned you only threw less than 2 innings this summer, but every time you take the hill, you look like a man on the mission. Is that kind of where that comes from as well?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it means a little more knowing that I didn't get my shot last year very often, and then now that I have the opportunity to pitch a lot, just kind of didn't want to waste that. So having a mean mentality on the mound, kind of like a bulldog, just kind of whoever's up there is. That's my enemy. So you kind of have that in your head.
Yeah.
So what about other players that you guys have modeled your work off of? I mean, you're a Phillies fan. You grow up a Major League Baseball fan, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. So any big name players that you guys grew up admiring?
Chase Utley.
Yep.
That's probably my biggest inspiration. I just remember that's kind of who I try to model my game after. He's obviously a very different position, but I remember from a really young age, my dad told me that if Chase Utley does it, I can do it. If Chase Utley doesn't do it, I can't do it. So that just goes with, the emotion you show and kind of how you respect your opponent and respect the game and stuff like that. So if I ever don't do that, my dad's always the first to let me know, and I appreciate when coaches let me know as well. So I always try to just stay level-headed like Chase was. So yeah.
I think for me, I'm sure a lot of people think the same thing. When I was younger, I was a big Mike Trout guy.
Yeah.
I'm from Kansas City, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but just watching him play and what he's done for the game was really inspiring me when I was a little kid. So that's kind of what I've gone off of.
So a similar thing with both of them, just position players, but the way they, respected the game, nose to the grindstone guys. That's what you guys admire about them. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, running out, ground balls. My dad said that because Chase Utley, he cursed when he won the World Series. So my dad said if I ever won the World Series, I could curse, but until then, no. So
I like that.
Big Royals fan, Tate?
Yeah, my house is like 10, 15 minutes away from the stadium, so I've been to a lot of games growing up. 2015 World Series game was pretty fun.
You got to go?
I got to go to one of those games.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Super cool.
Yeah. Who was the guy you had, posters on the wall? Who were those players for you?
I wasn't a big poster guy, but that 2015 team was like Lorenzo Cain, Mike Moustakas, Eric Hosmer, Escobar, all those guys.
What kind of aspirations do you guys have, like outside of baseball? What are some passions that you have that take your attention off the field a little bit?
For me, I just like being outside. I like hunting, fishing, just golfing, being outside. Kind of being outside takes my mind off stuff. I feel like I can go out there. That's kind of my getaway spot. Just be outside, just take my mind off baseball for a little bit, kind of relax.
There you
yeah. A lot of my time not spent doing baseball is probably doing schoolwork. I have big aspirations in school too. I try to stay on top of that, just so I have a backup plan. So definitely schoolwork, and then kind of right now being outside golfing with Tate too. That's fun. So that definitely takes my mind off baseball, and I have aspirations to maybe drop like a few strokes on my golf game. Hopefully break 100 one time.
We're getting there.
So we're getting there, yeah.
So you guys are in a scramble duo.
Yes.
Whose strength is whose? Who's got the short game? Who's driving it well?
So our strategy is Tate goes first on the drive.
Okay.
If he hits it in the fairway, I let it eat, and sometimes it goes straight. Sometimes I probably lose like a ball a hole, but if he hits it straight, which he usually does, then I'll let it rip, hopefully get a couple yards farther. But if not, we play his ball, and then basically that's just what we do every single time for every club.
Wow.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Outside of, we talked about mobs, is there any other like sleeper good golfers on this Gatemen team?
Zane.
Yeah, Zane Coppersmith.
Zane's crazy.
We played with him twice. He was better the first time. He's a lot better the first time. He's good.
Okay. Well, you talked about the academics.
Yeah.
Academic All-Patriot League, so you're a smart kid. Economics and Spanish.
Ooh, that's a
Right.
duo right there.
Yeah, that's
Good for
quite
you.
the. Is that a dual major, or is it under its own umbrella?
No, it's so I do an economics major in the business school, and then I'm minoring in Spanish.
Okay.
Through the, Spanish program. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
How's the Spanish going along?
It's all right. Like, it definitely comes back to me when I get in class.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm probably terrible, but when I step into class, it comes back to me a little bit. So that's always been a huge goal of mine, is to learn Spanish. So I had some extra time in school, so pick up a few classes and try to get that done. So yeah.
And not just in the business world, but in the baseball world too.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
a
where
lot
it came
of
from. That's where it came from.
That's nice.
What about you, Tate? What's your major?
I major in exercise science.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to go somewhere like PT, physical training, like athletic trainer, something like that.
Does that help with your strength and conditioning training, having a base knowledge on that stuff?
A little bit, yeah. You kind of understand like what muscles which, like what they each do. So you can kind of like say if someone's hurting, you can kind of isolate that a little better and kind of take care of yourself. So it's been cool, pretty helpful.
It's one of my last questions for you guys. Who is someone that has influenced your life in a way that, you know, it's impacted you both on and off the field? Someone that sticks out to you? I know that's kind of
like from this team, or just like in general?
In general.
Yeah, my dad for sure. He's just been a great resource for me throughout my whole entire life. Anything I ever need, I can talk to him about. Also goes with my mom as well. I can talk to my mom too. But recently, I've just found myself, you know, reaching out to my dad a lot about kind of just the struggles of, you know, being away for my first summer and you know, how to deal with things back at school. So I've just reached out to my dad about basically everything I've gone through recently, and that's, I mean, can't ask for anyone better than that for me. So yeah.
I had a pretty big mentor in high school. His name was Rob James. He was our high school coach. He was like a guy you can go talk to anything about. He was just like the best human in the world. He died of cancer probably pretty close about a year ago. And his big thing, like throughout his fight with cancer, was it's called "Ready for Battle." It was kind of a slogan. It was like, anything that life throws at you, you should be ready for it. Like, take it with an open heart. Just do the best you can with everything. He always told us that if I was any better, I'd be you. So it was kind of like his thing, saying like, you know, he's just such a good guy. I mean, I got him tattooed on my arm back here. I mean, he's just such a big part of my life. So I'd probably say him, and my parents too. But
wow,
yeah.
Something wow.
That's powerful stuff. And I mean, playoffs are right around the corner, so maybe bringing that mentality with you, trying to spread that throughout the clubhouse, right?
Yeah.
Sweet.
He's ready for the ball.
Isn't that the chant already? Isn't it battle?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That
Who started that?
that came from Lehigh.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Good for you.
yeah, we have a game we play, and when you don't know, it's kind of like hacky sack, but with your glove, and when you don't know whose out it is, everyone battles, and they got a 1v1. So it turned into like a 3-2 count or whatever, another foul ball. You can just tell the batter's battling, so just let out a battle. Julian and Sloan that have both left us. They helped get that going.
They bought into
so
that.
that was fun. Yeah, they bought into that.
Sweet.
So yeah.
You know, I've never gotten more Instagram DMs from anyone's father that among players that I've ever had
I know
on teams that I've worked for.
It's gotta be mine.
And Mr. Cole Leaman's father.
Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's so fascinated with, like, all of us us players are obviously up here trying to advance our careers too, but he reminds me every day that, like, all the interns are up here trying to advance their careers, and he's just, like, so fascinated by it. And he picks the photographer's brains because he's trying to be a photographer too, like, so yeah, I mean, I hope it's okay.
No, I embrace that sort of thing.
Awesome.
Imagine if Ethan was like, no, it's not cool.
Yeah.
What would you say on your father's behalf?
I'd go to him and say, knock it off.
That's awesome.
DMs are always open, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Anyways,
I think that's a good note to leave off.
I think so too.
good too.
All right,
Awesome.
Cole and Tate, absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Segment 1 complete.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Back here for segment 2 on this edition of Wareham Whiparound. Ethan Ivan, Kyle Marshak with you live from Cape Cod Coffee at Wareham Crossing. And our next couple of guests, we're excited to have Nate Earley of Louisville and Jacob Faulkner, right-handed pitcher out of Princeton. Guys, it's great to have you on.
It's great to be here.
Yep, awesome.
Absolutely. So I led off the interview with Tate and Cole with this question. I'd like to pose it to you now. What's something outside of baseball this week that has brought you joy? Whoever wants to start.
I can start.
There you go.
My girlfriend, she comes down a lot to hang out with me, so it's pretty nice that when I take a break from baseball that I get to just hang out with her, do stuff with her. So it's a nice diversity of life, I guess.
What about you, Nate?
For me, it's just, hanging out with the team, hanging out with the players. The new kid that we got, Byram Hot, he's going to be my teammate at school. It's pretty cool. And then Lippy, Chap, and who else was there? I forget who else, but we were all playing basketball and at the gym, having fun. And then, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. You and Hot are both transferring into Louisville as we speak. Yep. So you guys, have you touched, ground on campus over in Louisville yet, or?
One time I went over there to see the field and see what it's like over there, but really haven't stepped foot on the campus yet.
Yeah. That's an interesting process.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you met any Princeton guys to be, or?
Nah, people don't really transfer in or out. It doesn't, Columbia a little bit and like Penn a little bit they have. It's just not really something that happens for one reason or another. So it doesn't really happen.
Mainly the academics over there?
Yeah, I guess. Everyone stays. I've seen one Princeton person transfer out, ever that I know of. So it just doesn't, yeah.
Gotcha.
Both have had pretty good seasons. Faulkner an All-Star, Earley you were in the Home Run Derby. What do you guys attribute your success to this season? Say.
For me, I would just say probably school ball and my coaches. I think that the progress that I've made and who I am today has a lot to do with, obviously my family, my girlfriend, and then baseball-wise, just my coaches helping with mental game and experience. Also being in the Northwoods last year, I think that's something that once you do it once, it's kind of makes everything easy. Practice harder than you play, because once you do that, nothing else is really that hard. So respectfully.
Well, for me, I would say, school ball coaches definitely helps. Being down there in Florida, and then my coach back at home, my hitting coach, I would say big props to him, getting me prepared to come up here, and then for the most part, just doing me, being me. And staying humbled, and don't let your ego get too big. Don't ride the highs, and don't ride the lows. So, yeah.
Is that something that you've also learned a little bit from Mike Mobbs? What have you taken away from him in your time with him this summer?
I would say, all of his little sayings help me just be a better version of myself.
What about you? What have you taken from Eric Luxus, the pitching coach?
Really just timing awareness. A lot of what I get from him, especially being a sidearm guy, you don't always get the same type of information other people get, but I actually get a lot from watching him talk to other people and work from them. So for me, I really do try and constantly improve my mental game. So hearing what he has to say after games, and also picking more. I never really pick off, and they've been a heavy emphasis on picking off more. So I've started to incorporate that. I think that's going to be really helpful for my game. So I think that's one thing.
When did you commit to subbing you?
Whenever Lucas was here. Yeah, it was so cool to have Lucas here. Another subby guy. Obviously, he's a great pitcher. Definitely would have had my spot in the All-Star game if he stayed. So it's sad to see him go, but he's awesome. He asked me if I wanted to be on there. I said, of course. He's a great guy, good platform. So at some point while he was here.
So for context, Lucas Malstead, former Gatemen Clemson Tiger, started up an Instagram page, Subby University, for sidearmers, submariner type pitchers. Have you been able to build a community by being a part of that as well?
Oh, no, that's all him. It fully is all him, but it's just cool to be on there. And then if you were asking when I started throwing submarine, I don't know. I feel like I may have misinterpreted the question, but that was at 13. But I didn't know which one it was, so.
No, that brought up what I was looking for, too.
Okay.
That's a cool thing that Malstead has going. Yeah. How about culturally for you, a part of the Home Run Derby? Was that a fun experience, getting to know all these other power hitters, and then ultimately being the runner-up and getting some cool gifts, too?
Yeah, that was pretty cool experience. There was a lot of people there. I didn't realize how many people really enjoy watching baseball around here. Obviously, being here for the first time, it's the first experience for everything. It's also my first Home Run Derby, but being with the other power hitters and in college baseball, all those big names and whatnot was pretty cool. And it just goes to show that I'm not really far off. So, yeah.
Mike Mobbs has started calling you No Stride Nate. Is that something that you were able to take into the Derby as well?
A little bit, yeah. The no stride helps me, just control my barrel a bit more and get my barrel head out. Just kind of smoothing things out so I can see pitches better. But Home Run Derby, I had a little bit of a leg kick, but yeah.
Did you feel like an underdog going into it? Because you only have one home run this season. You've had a great year regardless of the stats, but did you feel like an underdog going into it?
A little bit, yeah, just because you hear those names, like I said before. But after the first round, when I saw people just swinging, I just got in the box and started swinging, and I knew what I could do. So.
Nice.
And what was in that box that you got as a gift? I
got Bobby Witt Jr. signed elbow guard. That was pretty cool.
Sweet.
Then a few other clothes from G-Form, yeah.
Nice.
Now, Faulkner, you were part of the support staff for Nate throughout the Derby. Arguably, this is no knock on any other team, but the Gatemen definitely had the most support for Nate throughout the experience. So what was that like for you, and what was that like for you, Nate?
It's so sick to be able to watch Nate go up there. So it was just I don't know, when you see other people like not yelling for their teammates, like it's supposed to be fun. You're watching like insanely strong dudes that are good at baseball just hit home runs. Like it's supposed to be a super fun experience. So I was happy that our teammates agreed to like literally just go crazy for him because you deserve it. And then also it was really fun.
Yeah, definitely made it more of an experience for sure. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, seeing everyone just really enjoy being there, and yeah.
So who was on each roll? There was someone with water, someone with like ice or a towel or something.
I kind of just all went in there.
Yeah, it was the only two that like stayed back was Pluta and I, because by the time we turned around, there's already 4 dudes with like different items. So we're not gonna crowd them too much, but yeah, there was like a towel, water. I don't even know. It was
It
the
looked
whole
like a pit stop or something.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
hilarious.
that's pretty cool.
yeah.
So continuing the off-the-field discussion, what's a challenge, a period of time, maybe a period of adversity that each of you have gone through that has shaped who you are, not just on the field but off the field as well? Would you be willing to share?
Off the field, you talking about here, or are you talking about like in general?
In general.
I would say just for a struggle, just finding something outside of baseball. Because I mean, I'm so driven and so like head down and just trying to grind, you know, and become a better baseball player. But trying to find things, you know, to maybe calm my nerves or just get my mind off of things. And I think my academic advisor at Louisville has kind of been helping me with journaling a little bit, and that's been pretty cool, pretty nice. But it's kind of hard to stay with it sometimes. But I think I'll start getting in the groove here soon, and yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, you guys have both, you know, been a part of different types of grinds. I mean, you're in the Ivy, and you did the JUCO grind. So was that a big part of, you know, shaping who you guys are as people?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely shaped.
I would say my struggle came from, like, I had some academic issues when I first started Ivy League. So my first year was actually the COVID year. So pretty much, I would say like 95% of schools had a season where Ivy didn't. So I didn't get to play that year. And then from my academic struggles at first, like with online classes, blah, 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 I was actually ineligible for my next year as well. And so that was my first 2 years of college. I didn't even get to play any baseball. I only found out like 2 weeks before the season. So kind of going through that, like the time that I had off and figuring out like what I really wanted, what it meant to me, I think has kind of shaped the way, because like knowing what it's like to not have it and watch other people play, I think is one of those big parts of life in general, but especially with a sport or like a game that you love, that shows you why you got to keep going.
So what is your major at Princeton, and how do you balance that with, you know, your game every day?
Yeah, so I'm an econ major. It's kind of standard for baseball players. I feel like going into a major like that, it kind of covers a lot of bases, and a lot of people go through it, so you get help from your teammates and stuff, but it really is just about getting through your first couple years. I feel like at an Ivy League, like once you make it past there, your routine and everything is set up, but that first year is just really tough, because you're going from high school, which you may have thought was hard at times, or maybe you didn't try that hard, or whatever it was, and now all of a sudden you're thrown into like the pit, you know what I mean? You're with lions in there, so yeah, I mean, you really just get a routine after your first year, and after that, it's just, you got to make sure you stick to it, or else you'll like fall. But it's not bad.
I'd like to expand more on the JUCO grind. You know, the JUCO bandit mentality. Not a lot of guys on the Cape have had to go through that just to get here, and now you're going to Louisville. So what did that grind teach you going through that?
Taught me a lot. Taught me kind of how to just become, like I said, who I am. Learning a lot of things, kind of my own way or by myself, but also having the coaching staff there to support me. But for the most part, yeah, it's definitely a mentality. It's definitely a grind, but at the end of the day, it's kind of almost the same grind that some Division I's have, just a little bit less exposure, obviously, and a lot of people kind of doubt what you can do, or you just got to believe in yourself, what you can do, and just go do you out there.
Both of you guys speak to this, you know, self-belief, which is obviously very important in a sport like baseball that can be so mental. And Faulkner, for you, you talked about the struggle of not playing ball for a couple of years, the time to think about who you want to be outside of baseball. What have you guys discovered about yourselves throughout this journey? What do you want to be outside of baseball? That's a loaded question.
Yeah, well, outside of baseball, I would say just be a good guy, and Yeah, I don't know. I really just love baseball, so I am baseball, I guess.
I am baseball.
Yeah,
I wanted to be a zookeeper for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, especially when the grades weren't working out. It's what I wanted to do when I was younger anyway, so I just like animals. But outside of baseball, I don't know, it's just important to me to like have fun with anything I do. So be around people I like, just enjoy whatever I'm doing, playing games, just, I don't know. I like to just relax and enjoy myself, so if I catch myself getting outside of that, like worrying too much in my off time, then that's the only thing I don't like. Otherwise, just enjoy the time not being there. Not a specific goal of where I want to be or anything.
Gotcha. What kind of animals do you enjoy like being around then?
All animals. I like, any like domestic, like dogs, cats, blah, blah, blah. I guess back home I catch a lot of snakes. Caught a frog. There's a turtle in our dugout earlier this year. Just any animal, really anything that you can find that you can safely handle. I guess that's big for me. I don't really like just looking. I'm big on being able to like handle the animal in a safe way, obviously. So
I think we're gonna have to go into the shrubbery right by Spillane Field and rescue Francesca Rico, the turtle. Can you rehash that story for us?
Dude, that was amazing. So I don't know how it happened. I think the consensus was it was like a baby snapping turtle, a little snapper, but it was just in the corner of the dugout allegedly. Someone had found it. Like we grabbed it, kind of put it in a cup, not sure what to do with it. I think someone tried to feed it like a seed, like just trying to get it something, you know what I mean? And then eventually it came to the point where like, all right, like, for one, where did it come from? And what are we gonna do with it? So I know eventually it got handed off to someone who like placed it in a safer spot than sitting in the dugout in a cup. But yeah, that was absurd to see a baby turtle just in the corner of the dugout, like baby, like inch long at most.
I'll tell you my perspective. I'm doing color, so Ethan's the one running the show for that particular moment in the broadcast, and Kyler, one of our videography interns, just walks up to me and hands me a cup. This is up in the booth, right? So it's already been traveled from the dugout up to the top, behind home plate. And I look in the cup, I'm like, this is very nice of Kyler to give me a drink, I guess. And I look down at the turtle, I was like, whoa.
And then he shows me, and I'm like, whoa.
All he told me, literally the only thing he told me was like, Bobby found it in the dugout. That's it. That's the only detail I got about this turtle that is now in front of me. So that's how Francesca Rico ended up in front of us, I guess.
I didn't know that was his name. That's new to me.
Yeah.
Well, we thought it was a Franklin, but then we realized it was a Francesca.
I see.
So.
Yes.
That makes sense.
We swiftly made that correction. So outside of yourself, who would you most trust to handle such a turtle, and who would you least trust to handle such a turtle?
I would trust Tate. He handled it, and he seemed like pretty cautious with it. I don't know, like to me when I see someone else with an animal, I always get scared because like there's always the chance that like, I don't know, someone doesn't care and they like just drop it on purpose. You know what I mean? Not that any of our guys would, but that's my innate fear is like assume the worst.
Francesca Rico was not harmed
No,
the duration of its time with Wareham.
Yeah, completely fine. It's just like, when you assume the worst instantly. So I was scared of that, but Tate handled it really well. And I would least trust no one, honestly.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think there's anybody who I would actually have a problem with having the turtle. I was just scared at first.
Is there an animal that you resonate with when you're playing baseball?
Spirit animal.
Maybe a dog. I like dogs. So.
Fair enough.
Wait, what kind of dog though? Because we talked to Gavin Black, and what was his
He
dog?
said he was a Presa Canario.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's an Italian Mastiff, I guess. So, do you have a dog breed that you resonate with?
What would you say I resonate with?
Chihuahua. No. I don't know. I'd say like a built dog. Like, not like a pit bull, but obviously strong dude. So, I don't know. Pit bulls can be kind.
Some big dogs.
Yeah, I'd say maybe a pit bull.
Fair enough. Okay. I can live with that.
Yeah. So Nate, you had a really cool experience just last weekend. We were together at Fenway Park, and we got to go up to the broadcast booth and kind of check things out a little bit. You were with Rob Bradford and our boss Andrew Duffy. You got to go up to the Red Sox radio booth. You talked to Joe Castiglione, a Hall of Famer. What was that whole experience like for you?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, at first I didn't really know who the guy was, and then when people started saying the name, I started like kind of remembering. Like I was like, oh wow, this dude's someone important, obviously.
Yeah.
Then I wanted to go shake his hand and whatnot, and then I was like, oh, that's a nice ring he has because he had a World Series ring on. And he was like, oh yeah, I got 5 of them actually. And so I was like, wow, well this guy's pretty cool. So Yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. Definitely one in a lifetime. Boston Yankees series. So, I mean, what better can you get than that?
I mean, we're standing basically on top of the baseball world, one of the best views that you could imagine. You got to talk to Will Fleming as well, and then they talked about you on the air right after that conversation. How do you feel about that?
No, yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't realize even like how big the Red Sox radio was, but very cool experience for sure. Grateful for it.
On that note, was there a broadcaster or some, baseball watching growing up, was there a broadcaster that you kind of resonated with, or someone that helped bring you the game, that helped grow your fandom growing up? Anyone you guys can think of?
Names? No. But I mean, the Yankees broadcaster is pretty cool to hear and everything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You grew up a Yankees fan?
No.
No?
I just always watch him. I don't know why.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I'm a Reds fan, and hearing his voice too was pretty cool. His home run calls and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What about you, Jacob?
I don't know. I feel like I watched a lot more baseball in person than on television. I'm kind of still that way. I really enjoy the experience more than just viewing. So no one specifically, but I watched 99% Rays growing up, being from basically Tampa area. So I don't know who the announcer was at the time, but I'm sure in some degree he has shaped.
Probably Dwayne Stats.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the Evan Longoria era was, that was my prime time.
So, Jacob, I promised I would ask you this. How's your Uncle Craig doing?
He's doing great. Yeah, that's my guy. Seriously, he's the best. Just everything he does. I mean, he does a lot for me as well, behind the scenes. So he's always there for me, calling me, texting me about performances and stuff. I don't know, he's just always literally eager to help me. So he's a big force in my life, and I always really appreciate him.
So just for context, your Uncle Craig was a former pro ball player, LSU, and then in the minors for 8 years. He was a first baseman, catcher? Catcher, gotcha. So was he a big spark for, your love for baseball as a kid?
Yeah, I always played for his teams, at least starting in travel ball, and then high school, he's my high school coach. He tried to get me to catch for a little bit, but I was never very good at that. So that trait definitely is not running in the family. He was a unicorn with that one. But yeah, he's the reason why I switched to submarine, and the reason that I was able to get help and get to the point where I am today, get help with throwing submarine, and get to the point where I am today. He's besides my parents, he's 99% the reason. So all love to him. He's a big force for me.
And who was your baseball motivation growing up?
I just loved the game, just watching the game. My dad always just had baseball on the screen, and then going to watch Reds games, I would say.
Yeah.
And then I watched a lot of Ken Griffey Jr. highlights and whatnot. And then I was in the era of Brandon Phillips was there, Jay Bruce, Joey Votto's prime, I would say.
Yeah.
Even though he's a great baseball player all the time. But
I'm surprised Joey Votto wasn't the first guy you mentioned.
Yeah, no, Joey Votto was he was up there for sure.
I guess that kind of leads into my next question, which is, can you spotlight someone that has influenced your life both on and off the field, someone that has really given you, a lot of influence over your life?
Yeah, I mean, my answer is easy, my uncle. Yeah, in every way, every shape and way. Yeah, just how I go about life and then how I go about baseball too. I think there's literally not a single thing about me that wasn't in some way manufactured or influenced from him. I guess my personality I was born with, but outside of that, how I go about myself and stuff, I think is pretty much all from him. So.
For me, it's definitely my hitting coach back at home. His name's Lance Durham. Shout out to Lance, but yeah, his mentality just in life, and then also the mental side of the game, and then also physically. I mean, he's just been a big support with my career and who I am today.
Awesome. I think that's a pretty good note to leave off on. So I'll ask my last question in terms of where you guys are going trajectory-wise in your life outside of baseball. What are those aspirations? What do people want to know about y'all before you leave in what could be your only summer in the Cape?
I'm just a hard worker, and then I'm just a cool guy. That's all I'd say. Always just
Fun
chill.
guy.
Yeah, I'm always just a chill guy. I don't know.
It's been a fun team this year.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Well, that's valid. For me, yeah. I mean, I just like to have fun out there. I think you can mostly see it when I'm out there, when I pitch. Smile sometimes when I'm throwing and stuff like that. So I think if there's one thing about me that someone could take away, I like to do what I enjoy and enjoy what I do. So I'm out there for a reason, and it's mostly to have fun.
I guess for my last question, we always want to use this game as a vehicle to give back to the community. Jacob, you were able to do that. I think during high school, you were able to go out to the Dominican Republic and help out some kids using baseball. So tell me about that experience and what that was like.
Yeah, that was awesome. Again, I'll bring up my uncle here. He was our high school coach. Him and obviously the people around him kind of manufactured this trip for us to have, where we went to the DR for, I think, about a week. Nothing absurd, but got to go around to towns and villages and just like really be around the kids, like have fun with the kids. They weren't all our age, a little bit younger, but I don't know, just being able to experience like different walks of life and be there. And then we played baseball, and obviously like we had food and groceries and everything that we brought to them as well, like helped out at an orphanage one of the days. So it was really it was an experience for both ways, for us to see like how other people are, and then for us to be able to give to them and be present for them.
What kind of perspective did that give you?
Definitely one of gratefulness, and again, also I think a lot of the fun that I have comes from that. When you see people who have it like just a lot harder than you do, and they're having like more fun than you were, or more fun than you thought you were, I think that kind of changes your perspective a little bit. Like that's how it should be. Like it is a game. So definitely took that from them.
Nate, have you had any kind of experience like that, or just with being able to give back through the game?
Not like that. I mean, that's a pretty cool experience. Definitely one in a lifetime.
What about through like the kids camps here?
Yeah, kids camps that I've done before also. But that's really just about it. Just trying to give the little kids something to just be an inspiration. Just be their idol hopefully, and just for the most part that's it.
A lot of autographs signed this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of autographs.
Not enough.
Not enough, yeah. I hear you.
Tops, sign these guys real quick. All right. Well, this has been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for joining. This is Nate Earley from Louisville and Jacob Faulkner from Princeton. I guess that'll tie a bow on this episode of Wareham Whiparound. I want to thank Cape Cod Coffee here at Wareham Crossing for hosting us. Super grateful to them. Yeah, that's right. We got the cups to prove that we were here. All right. We also thank Cole Leaman and Tate McGuire for joining us earlier in this program, and for Kyle Marshak and all of our production crew. Thanks to Alex Gibeon for setting this thing up, and all of our wonderful interns as well. So we'll see you next time on Wareham Whiparound.